So in this video, I'm going to help you guys navigate the kind of convoluted waters of cybersecurity. How can you navigate all of the abundance of resources out there, right? There's so many different books that you can learn from, courses you can learn from, certifications, CTFs, all of this. There's just so many resources out there. And with that being said, it might be very overwhelming if you're new, or even if you're not new here, to be quite frank with you. And this is something that I've also fallen victim to, so I definitely have firsthand experience with this. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to navigate this and how to be able to efficiently pursue this field and really, avoid the distractions and focus yourself in the areas where it's going to give you the best return on your time and on your effort. So stay tuned if that sounds interesting to you. Hey guys, what's up? This is Ryan from Elevate Cyber. Let's get right into it. One of the main issues with cybersecurity, this is something that you see in other areas too, but especially in cybersecurity, is there's just an overabundance of information, right? And it's a good problem to have, to be honest with you, right? In the information age, a lot of spaces are kind of like that. And with the internet being what it is, right? There's just so much information out there. There's so many different routes you can go, and everyone's going to have their own preference. But you can really find yourself falling victim to what I would call the shiny object syndrome, where you're basically just chasing different, trying to learn different things that are new and cool, and you're just pulled in so many different directions that, you end up just kind of spinning your tires and not finding yourself making much progress. There's a saying that my mentor has distilled upon me. I want to share it out with you guys, and that is, a divided man is a weak man, but a focused man is a dangerous man, all right? So if you really want to become dangerous, if you really want to, have this sharp skill set, then the best thing you can do is focus your attention, right? Really focus it, channel it into a few things rather than allowing yourself to be spread in 1,000 different directions. Now, with that being said, how do you know what few things to focus in on, right? Because there's still the problem of there's just so many different resources out there, so many books you could read, so many courses you could take, so many CTFs you could do, and the list goes on and on and on, and it's increasing by the day, definitely not going down. So with that being said, how can you really navigate this, right? Well, at the end of the video, if you stick all the way to the end, I'll give you my bonus recommendations if you're completely lost. But I think that this is a problem that you could probably solve even on your own, right? The first thing you got to start with is you got to ask yourself the question of, what interests me? What am I interested in? Because we've covered this a lot on the channel too, but no one knows everything in cybersecurity, nor will anyone know everything that there is to know. That's part of the fun of cybersecurity, in my opinion, because you can just keep on learning endlessly. You'll never, you might have worked some jobs in the past where you learned how to do the job duties and there wasn't really anything else to learn, and then you just kind of got bored. Or at least I got bored. I get bored in those types of environments. But with cybersecurity, you will never run into that issue. You'll always have more that you can learn. You'll always be expanding your skill set. Even if you could theoretically know all there is to know, well, there's new technologies coming out all the time, and that's a whole new set of skills required. I mean, yeah, some of the old ones carry over, but you get the point, right? There's a lot of new stuff you can learn. So the first question you got to start with is, what do you want to learn? Where do you want to specialize in? What interests you? What got you excited about this field to begin with, right? Sometimes you got to go back to your roots a little bit. Once you determine that, there's still going to be a ton of resources probably, depending on what it is, of similar things. It'll teach you the same thing, but you still could be pulled in a lot of different directions. So after that, after you've kind of determined that, what I would say is you just, do a few reviews, maybe talk, if you know someone who's gone through them, you can get a little information, but after that, you just got to pick stuff and go for it, right? Because I think a lot of people get caught up in a sort of fear of missing out. And you'll see this in a lot of different, manifest in a lot of different areas. You'll definitely see this in the financial sector where people FOMO in on investments. I mean, look what just happened with the GameStop thing. How many people FOMO'd into that when the money-making opportunity had well passed, and they end up not being too lucrative in that. Look at all the people right now FOMOing into Dogecoin and not really making anything off of that, right? So you don't want to FOMO in. You got to understand that you don't have to read every book that is good. You don't have to complete every course. You don't have to, practice pen testing on every, amazing site out there. You got a lot of options, right? You got like Hack the Box, VulnHub, Pen Tester Lab, Try Hack Me, right? And that's just CTFs. And there's way more than that too that I didn't name. I know I'm missing out a lot of them on that list, but that's just one example, right? And then with books, you got like the Hacker Playbook, you got real world bug hunting, you got the Web Application Hacker's Handbook, and you got new books coming out every day. You're never going to read them all. You don't have to, right? It's pretty liberating to realize that you don't have to consume every piece of content. A little story for you guys. When I started my first pen testing job, it was at a really large Fortune 10 company, but they happened to hire a lot of people that were new to cybersecurity. And of course, you had your veteran guys there as well. And they were, they had the best of intentions, these veteran guys. Like, they were trying to reach out, help the newer people by having these sessions where they would just rattle off tons of resources. But what it actually ended up happening, interestingly enough, is it had the opposite effect. The new people that attended that meeting, they end up feeling worse after they left than when they came, because they felt so behind. They felt like there was just so many resources and they had to go through all of them, and that it just felt so overwhelming to them, right? So the first thing is you just got to understand you'll never get through all these resources, and you don't have to. Like I said, start with what you find interesting, go from there, and then pick something, right? Pick no more than two things. Pick one thing, pick two things, right? If it's just one thing, then hey, more power to you. You can be even more focused in on that. But pick one or two things, know them, learn them really well. I wouldn't say you have to be an expert in them, but thoroughly finish them, right? You're not just like reading books, right? Like, have you ever tried to read like 5 books at one time? It's the worst experience ever. Like, it's so hard to get through any one book if you're spreading your time that thin, and it's hard to retain the information. And, you're better off just reading one book at a time. You'll get through the books more efficiently. You'll get more out of it. And it just makes more sense, right? Take the same approach with your resources in cybersecurity. Pick one or two things. Really focus in on them until you complete them, until you if it is a course, till you get through that course. If it's a book, till you get through that book. If it's a certification, till you get through that certification, just focus on that, right? Don't try to do OSCP and bug bounties and, this book that you're reading and these CTFs. Like, just focus on OSCP for a time, And it's not like that's all you're going to do the rest of your life, Just for a time, you get the certification, and then you move on to the next thing, right? Focus on, maybe it is bug hunting, do like Pen Tester Lab and bug hunting. And that's going to teach you in a practice environment from Pen Tester Lab how to find and exploit some of these vulnerabilities. And then you'll supplement that. That'll be like your supplement to the real world pen testing you'll do with the bug bounty. So then you got, a very narrow focus of two things you can really focus in on. Because remember, if you were watching my series on Mastery by Robert Greene, we're covering that book. Apologies for not putting that video out this week. It was a lot of work to get that those notes out to you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying those. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check the link in the description for my free notes over 5 years that I've accumulated over doing OSCP and CTFs and stuff like that. So if you're trying to level up your game in pen testing, this would be a good supplement I would recommend. Just go down to the link below and it'll email them to you. But if you've been following that series on the Mastery book by Robert Greene, one thing he talks about is, as us as humans, we were pretty much hardwired, and we are hardwired to focus in on one thing. He gives a lot of biological examples of why this may be the case, but needless to say, we are hardwired to be inclined just to focus in narrow on one or a few things. So if you really, work with your brain rather than trying to make your brain do something it wasn't designed to do, make it do something crazy difficult, just focus in and really be thorough with the material that you do consume. It's not so much important what you pick, so much as you pick something and you just, you pick a few things, a couple things, right? And you just stick to those and you learn them well, right? And then you can move on to the next thing. So if you have 5 things that you really want to do, you're really like, I want to do these 5 things. Maybe they're CTFs, certification, books, like a combination of the 5. You really want to do these 5 things, pick 1 or 2. If they're not as time consuming, you can pick 2. If they're really time consuming, like OSCP, then just pick 1, right? Just do OSCP, right? So you pick them 1 or 2 at a time, you knock them out, then you go to the next one, knock it out, then you go to the next one, knock it out. And then before you know it, you will have gotten through all 5 of those things, and you would have actually retained a lot more information. You would have been a lot more efficient with it. And so now if you stuck around this long, I'll give you my little bonus. I'll say whatever you choose to do is you want to make sure that you are maintaining your health throughout. So, definitely eat healthy for a clear mind and get 8 hours of sleep. A lot of you guys probably skimp out on sleep. I used to. Just trust me on this one. Try it for yourself and tell me that it doesn't improve your life. Get at least 8 hours of sleep every single night. That'll allow you to be more focused, think very clearly, and overall just be way more efficient when you are doing your work and more focused, clear-minded, and all of that. But in terms of what I would say to go for, I would say go for some CTFs, like Hack the Box. Great, I show that a lot on this channel. Pursue Hack the Box, and then combine that with, combine that with the knowledge on this channel. Pick those 2 things, and just go steady at that, right? Get my notes down in the section below, and try to go through and utilize those notes, add to them, make them your own, and you will be able to develop a skill set in this from zero. If you combine that with watching some of my videos on the What You Need to Know for OSCP series, or even the Beginner's Guide to Pen Testing, if you check out those series, that'll give you a baseline of information of how to do this pen testing offensive security thing. And then you just go at it with Hack the Box, right? You try some stuff on your own with the active boxes, and then you also do some of the boxes that are no longer the live boxes that you can look up write-ups on to figure out how to do it. Maybe watch some of my videos where I've done some walkthroughs on them as well, or someone else's videos. And that way you can go through it, and you'll have like your training session and then your live sessions where you're going at the active boxes on your own without any write-ups. So with that, you can quickly gain a skill set in this stuff from scratch. So if you're completely lost, that's where I would recommend starting out. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you are looking to elevate your skill set in security. You want a little bit more technical content. I definitely create a lot of that on this channel as well. And hit the like button as well, help get the message out there. And I will see you guys in the next video.